guys, welcome back to the channel. So delighted to be back on the right side of the camera this time, and delighted to introduce my good friend on the other side of the camera.
Aye, this is
Nerve-wracking stuff, eh?
This is the worst.
Big debut. It's okay, there's only going to be about
2 people watching
50, 60,000 people watches the video anyway, so no pressure. Today we're going to do a little wedge fit with Michael. Just got your 14 RM4 wedges through, brand new, look smashing.
Yeah, they look clean.
Look really, really nice, nice chrome finish. Like you said, they're clean is a great way to describe them. 14, the brand 14 has been well known in our circles, for quite some time. But I don't think that well known in the common market, of the OEMs. Not something you'll see on every shelf in every big box store.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was quite a few LPGA that would use them. Few guys on tour back in the day would use them as well, and then they went a little quiet. But yeah, now they've resurfaced with this wedge. They've got a new iron coming out, so I generally keep the same set of wedges. I've had my artisans now for coming up to 3 years in May, and I haven't really noticed a reduction in spin or anything like that, like over the last couple seasons. I would say my short game saves me a bit.
Good wedge player, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Last year I put an RTX 60 degree in the bag because I played high toe, and then the artisan I had from my 60 just wasn't something I loved the feel of. Here in the grass that we play here wasn't great. Off Bermuda it was awesome. So I do have some artisans on their way probably in September.
Yep.
So artisans will stay in the bag. RM4s will play a role in the bag, so it'll be interesting to see what this does today.
Okay, so let's do what we can. Let's get these optimized. The lofts you've got currently 48 that we intend to probably weaken ever so
50,
slightly.
yeah.
You made a comment, you got them so you could weaken it and take a little offset off.
Yeah.
The reality is there wasn't much offset, if any, to even start with.
No.
So we'll see how that plays out. 54 and also a 58.
Yeah.
So we've always got that little bit of leeway either side. We can strengthen, weaken, just play around with those just to make sure the gap well, make sure the sole is working as intended through the strike and gives you the variety of shots you need in the short game. But as always in a wedge fit, let's start with your pitching wedge.
Yep.
Get some baseline numbers. Mura 501s,
501s,
gorgeous iron. Modus 120 stiff.
120 S's, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if you're comfortable. Okay. So that's probably your, slight miss with the wedge, Mikey. Slight miss with the irons, really getting a bit too shallow. Contact enters a little early. We're a little toe down. You and I have got the same issue, handle razors and standing up out the shot. So something that will continuously remind you, ball back, weight forward, get that angle of attack. We like it about 3 down for you. 3 to 4 is a nice window with the wedge. So we'll work towards that. That contact will improve. That's a lovely strike.
Yeah, it felt good.
Yeah, beauty. Really good. All right, Mikey, nice, good delivery, nice adjustment. The first one was a little on the thin side. We talked about it. We know what it takes to get you a little steeper. It's a little ball further back. It's weight more into the lead side. Guys, that's a really nice tip for those of you that don't make great contact on the wedges. Ball position back and get that weight forward will get you a little bit more descending. For Mike, that done exactly that. So angle of attack went from 1.2 down to 4.4 and then hovered around 4 degrees down. Really, really helps Mike with the contact. And also look what happens to the dynamic loft as a result of that. You obviously get the shaft forward, it gets the ball speed up, and you're going to see much more consistent distances out of that. So little nugget in there for those of you who struggle with the striking on those. But that's a lovely wedge. That's a good baseline for us to start your pitching wedge, and then we'll obviously work off of that with a gap wedge. What's your number right now with the gap wedge? How far do you like it to go?
I would say it's 115, but like 110, 115 would be perfect really for me.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I was thinking like 115, 116 would be a nice number for us to get at today, and we will do, no problem. All right, Mikey, gap wedge is up first. 48 bent to 49.
Yeah.
Great looking club, great sort of profile to it. The head shape looks really, really nice. Just off camera there, you said something that you actually regret having put the Dynamic Gold spinner in the gap wedge. You wish you had put an iron shaft in there.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
It's, I'm a strong believer in playing whatever you have in your irons played in your 50 or your whatever wedge that is. It's just your full swing club.
Yeah.
I just did it because I had one and you know, wanted to keep the set, you know, throughout, which is all right. I could always use this for another 60, but I will most likely reshaft this wedge in the next couple of weeks. Well,
let's see how you do with that one, and then we can consider that. That was really nice where you had the flight window through with the pitching wedge there. So obviously we like what the Modus 120 is doing. So we'll see if this works.
Okay.
It's always nice when your debut with a brand new club goes that well.
Still a bit flippy?
Yeah, I mean, we're just saying there that the dynamic lie angle difference between your pitching wedge and your gap wedge is, there's a little bit in there. So if we look at it here, you were 2 degrees toe down with the pitching wedge, you're 0 out on the gap wedge. I love that because it's a little lesson for those out there that you don't necessarily have to have your lie angle perfectly flush with the ground. You need your ball to be flying at your intended target. So we might do a little modification of this, flatten it a little bit for you, Mikey. As long as it doesn't hinder your turf interaction, then you know we will keep you a little bit on the flat side. Just protects you from that miss. That's a 112-yard carry, but you've ended up, you know, nearly 7 yards left, and that's almost the full extent of your distance from the pin. You get yourself online with that, you've got maybe a 6 or 7, you know, 8-foot putt, not a 21-foot putt.
And
so
that's
proximity.
Something I noticed last year, over the last couple of years, especially at the club now, like very little greens hit from 130 yards in, and generally like pretty decent with my iron play, but like I could count on one hand how many greens I would hit around, and then go back in my mind and go, if I was hitting more greens, be a heck of a lot better.
Game changer,
so.
Get those greens hit around, you know, what's a decent round, like 5 or 6? Right? Get that up to 8 or 9, then you're really in good territory. I mean, and it wouldn't take an awful lot to get that either.
There are some rounds where it's like 2 greens.
And
you walk out and go, how is that even possible?
And you drive it well enough to do that. It's not like you're only achieving that because you're struggling so much with the driver.
Right.
You're driving it most of the time pretty well. Toronto Golf Club is not the most penalising off the tee. So really this is about optimising your equipment to give you the intended start and flight lines that you expect to see. Okay, a couple more. Lovely. Really nice. One of the best swings you've had yet. Go in. Okay, so little adjustment. 1.5 degrees flatter. Should take us to about half a degree toe down, maybe 0.7, something like that. I just think that'll manage the club face to the right a little bit more. So let's see what that does.
I struck those definitely. Those last 3 were definitely better.
Struck them nicer, didn't you?
Yeah.
Move that strike a little bit inward, move the toe down a little bit. That lengthens the golf club fractionally. Don't mind that. It's good for keeping that face to the right. So it keeps it right of the target, 2 degrees open, keeps it left of the path. That's the key. Tiny little baby draws. Really, really like to see that. Okay, golden. I think. I
like it.
Yeah, that's a perfect little relationship there between pitch and wedge and gap wedge. Thank you. Really, really nice. 12 yards, perfect, bang on. All right, let's grab your 54. Okay, Mikey, so we've jumped ahead from what we learned about going a little bit flatter with the 48, which we've bent now to 49. We were going to stick to that 1 degree flat. I think that's ideal for you. Trying to get that toe ever so slightly down, manage the start line, reduce the curvature, really bring your proximity in, work like a treat with the gap wedge. Let's see if it does it with the 54.
Okay.
I mean, that was a little bit on the thin side, Mikey, but on the golf course, if you hit that one, you're over the moon because you've got your start line perfect, you've got a 20-footer, and you just know you've given up a little bit of the strike low.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really, really good. You're really managing all the other parameters well. You've got a really nice descend and blow into it now. Launch and spin are in a really nice window. Launch angle is approximately half of the loft in your wedge. That's a really nice little nugget for people out there to know what their launch angle should be. If your launch angle is in the 30s, the chances are you're scooping a little bit, you're a little bit in the shallow side, not what we want at all. So those are really nice numbers. So just let's move the strike up the head slightly, and that'll get the ball speed back up. That's a beauty.
Good. A little flippy.
And that's the miss now. So you get it pin high, you have tugged it a little bit, but that's where the lie angle bails you out, to be honest. That's where the 3 degrees toe down pushes the club face right enough, tilts that loft. And you know, guys, I can't emphasize this enough. When you have loft in your hands, this is when the lie angle really matters. If you have 0 degrees of loft and you tilt it up and down, you're not tilting anything. So it's the wedges when you really tilt it and you get 50 to 60 degrees of loft, you are tilting that face left and right aggressively. So the difference that has made for Mike, being able to tilt that a little bit toe down makes the world of difference, to the point where now you've got a 15-foot putt.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for a birdie or save par, whatever it may be. So really, really like that. Let's hit 2 more with this one, but I like where we're at. Any feedback in terms of what they feel like, and are they soft? Do you like the shaping?
Yeah, I mean, the shape is a little, in the 50, and this is a little ovally to me. The wedges I currently play right now, to me, are very, not boxy, but they have very clean lines.
Yeah. The 48 and the 54, Mikey, they've got a unique design if you flip it onto the back. So they do have this sort of thicker portion on the toe side. On the next wedge that we test with, actually that flips around and goes to the heel side, because what we're looking for is to sort of stabilize the strike on these longer shots. Then when you get in around the green, we want control of the club face, so the CG moves a little bit more heel side. Yeah. That's a really neat little feature of these RM4 wedges, something that other companies aren't doing too much yet, that variance of CG left and right. Lots of vertical adjustment. Right. We've seen wedges like the ES21, obviously Titleist for a few years now have been working with variable CG, but this sort of lateral CG adjustment is a really neat feature.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, very good. We're getting a really nice progression with the spin right now. Tells me we're getting some good, maybe a couple of yards shy of where I would like that to be.
Yeah. See it more like 105?
Probably. I mean, I had the green set at 102, so we were going in nice 12-yard increments. I was expecting another 12-yard progression. Guys, roughly 2.5 to 3 yards per degree of loft is what we expect. Somewhere in that window, that should be 10 to 12 yards per club and gapping. So that's a little more than I want. Hit a couple more for me. I just want to.
Okay. Should be a bit better.
All right, Mikey. So part of the evolution of your wedge game, for me, is to try and take the 60 or the most lofted club out your hands a little bit more. Try and add a little more variety to your game. We're going to hit some shots here, but we're not going to hit them full. I don't really like people hitting full out high lofted wedges, especially when your tendency is to be a little back foot, right? So I want you to think of this like 3/4, maybe 80%. Yeah. Weight forward, obviously, keep all that same good stuff, ball back, and we're kind of driving this one almost like a low punch type of shot. So I love the progression we've got going on right now with the angle of attack. Looking at the loft, that was a 54-degree wedge. We're delivering 40, tells me we've got tons of forward shaft lean. So I'm liking all of that stuff. The green right now is set at 86.
Okay.
85, 86, somewhere about there. So that should be good for a nice little 80%er. How do these feel?
Yeah, they feel good.
Yeah, the launch window, backspin, it's right where we want it. Again, half of the loft on the wedge, which is what we want the launch angle coming out at. This is driven forward, lots of control. Love everything about it. Let's hit a couple more and then we'll go to some partial swings. You're finding that lovely little kind of spot that good players try to find when they hit these little wedge shots, which is just two on the second or third groove. It does drive the flight down a little bit and give you that little bit more control. I like to see that, and just gives you that little bit extra.
Love it.
It's really, really good. It looks like a good set of wedges for you.
Yeah.
And there's your progression on flight. So, you know, you've got your options if you want to flight the ball in at various heights into the greens. You know, you've got different shots you can play with different wedges. You know, I think as a club fitter, we always would say to the client, okay, over to you. Your wedges are going to work really nicely for you now. You've got good gapping, good progression. As long as the bounce it matches up really, really nicely, which it looks like it does for you. You're doing a good job in the delivery, really establishing nice downward angle of attack, progressively more downward as the loft got higher.
Yeah.
Love to see that as well. So it's good stuff. Okay, why don't we finish with a few little partial swings, little 50-yarders, and
okay.
I'll see us off.
Dummy. Beautiful.
Okay, so we're 1 degree flatter. Should see that lie angle come slightly toe down now. Let's see if that's the case. Nice. Okay, so we were just talking about the spinner, the Rafalski spinner.
Yeah. See if we can pull it off.
Let's see if we can pull it off. So we're trying to get a bit steeper than 5. We're trying to get a little bit more loft than 48. Anything in the 50s and anything about 8 or 9 down will spin in that, you know, elite 9,000 or above.
Okay.
It's a great effort.
Come on, baby, spin.
Oh, cheeky one. So you got to strike a little further down, 53.5 delivered loft and 7.3 down. Yeah. Really, really nice.
Spinny.
That's yeah, it's a nice little one to have in the repertoire, that, isn't it? Just see that coming in, you know, floated it in, just spinning it back to the hole. It's a little highlight reel shot.
Love it.
Nice wedges.
Yeah, good.
Impressed?
Yeah, they feel good. They sound good. They perform. No offset, which I was really shocked. I was expecting a ton of offset.
A bit more offset, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm sure they'll start the season for sure. I mean, again, I'm strong artisan guy, so I'm between wedges, but you know, to have these in the bag, I have no problem putting them in.
Well, the proof is going to be in the pudding. Once you get it on the course, like you say, you're going to start scoring. You've said your greens and reg with your wedges has not been a strong point. Yeah. Kind of no excuses now. You've got them set up exactly how you need them. You've got a few different shots up your sleeve with them now. You've got a 70 to 80%, 58 degree driven wedge shot at 85 yards. It's a new one. This little spinner, which is a new one. You've got some yardages that are predictable now with the gap in the sand wedge. So yeah, that's a nicely assembled little wedge matrix you've put together there. Love it. Good, good, good. Cool. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think the likelihood is the 14 wedges will be in our bag for testing here at TXG at both locations. I think that'll be the idea. They sent us these wedges so we could test them, get our thoughts. Mike certainly agrees that they're really, really nice, and you know, they're great to fit with, so they will be in our bags for testing. So if you stop by one of our stores and you're doing a wedge fit, make sure you do try them. More wedge fits to come, lots more wedges. We haven't done wedges for quite some time, so it'll be good to do a little bit more tests with those in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay guys, stay tuned, we'll see you again soon.